Jim Hanson, Hanson.
And what organization are you?
You gotta get it really up there. There you go. There you go.
That's good.
Yep. Hanson. I write for a military website called Black File.
Okay. And what are you doing here protesting against these anti-protesters? Or
We just thought it was kind of comical that these people came down to support a guy who just committed something vaguely similar to treason against this country. I mean, if Bradley Manning is the one who leaked these documents, he has already put the lives of his fellow soldiers at risk, and now he and Mr. Assange from WikiLeaks are culpable for the deaths of Afghan civilians who helped us in Afghanistan, and that blood is on their hands. It's already happening. The Taliban has already put out a release saying they are combing through those documents for names, and they're going to the villages, rounding those people up and killing them.
And what do you say to their argument that the American people deserve to know this, that freedom of speech protects people like Bradley Manning?
I don't know that it does. I think the military and the government have some things that should be kept secret. The public knows that. If they don't like it, they can vote different people into office and have them change the policies. But on some level, there are some things that should remain secret. And releasing this stuff and claiming that it shows evidence of war crimes when it clearly doesn't. I mean, has anybody found a war crime that WikiLeaks has exposed? There's nothing in the documents they've released about Afghanistan that shows any war crimes were committed. And the previous video that apparently Manning leaked that showed Apache gunships in Iraq shooting what they called a group of civilians actually showed that group of civilians was armed with AK-47s and rocket-propelled grenades. Now, I can be perfectly clear and state that no civilians in Iraq carry rocket-propelled grenades. The only people who carry those are insurgents. So the evidence that they released purporting to show evidence of war crimes actually exonerated the Apache gunship pilots because it showed that the people they shot were carrying weapons that could only be used against U.S. troops. So thus far, WikiLeaks has a record of not releasing anything that shows war crimes and of putting both our troops and the civilians who support us at risk.
And could you explain some of these signs over here saying that Bradley Manning's a traitor and don't free him, fry him? What's that all about?
Well, I think, like I said, if he released these documents and they show nothing other than evidence that we're prosecuting the war in a fairly responsible manner, then he violated his oath of enlistment and he violated the Uniform Code of Military Justice. And he will hopefully spend some time in Leavenworth making little rocks out of big rocks. He earned that. He knew that going in. And the idea that he's got some right to do this because of some ephemeral, freedom of speech right to know. There is no right to know secret information. The government has a legitimate interest in having secrets, and he violated that, and he paid the price.
So are you calling for Bradley Manning to be executed?
I don't think this was a capital crime. All right, now, if you look at the fact that they're getting Afghan civilians killed, maybe the Afghan government has a claim that he's an accessory to murder, he and Mr. Assange, because if Afghan civilians are being killed based on evidence that they released, then they bear culpability for that.
Thanks very much.